I just can't stop thinking about everything that could go wrong. I mean, I want this so much, but I'm afraid to hope. What if it doesn't work? What if I'm kidding myself? What if I end up right back where I started, only worse? How will I cope? How will I live with yet another failure? I know I'm supposed to think positive thoughts and all that, but it just seems so difficult. I've tried to stop the thoughts, to turn off my mind and get on with my life, but that doesn't seem to last for more than a minute. Then, before I know it, I'm right back where I started, filled with gloom and doom and certain things will never work out for me. Welcome, everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, here with you on Angel Heart Radio. If you are ready to easily stop the barrage of negative thoughts that are crowding your mind, stay with me, because when we come back, we're going to discover how you can stop negative mind chatter.
Angel Heart Radio programs should not be used to replace your legal or medical advice, nor your own sound judgment. In truth, nothing can dim your magnificence. You are a divine spark, a universal light. You are here on purpose. You are part of a divine plan, and it's our joy to support you. We're here to celebrate you. Welcome to Angel Heart Radio. Powered by love, Angel Heart Radio is brought to you by AngelLight777.com. Great news, everyone. Angel Heart Radio is now live streaming on our Facebook page, and we have a fully searchable, brilliant podcast platform for you at AngelHeartListen.com. Put the power of the spiritual realm to work in your life with Marcia Martin on Angel Heart Radio starts now.
So we're back, and we need to remember that as awakened beings, we must accept and honor both the privilege and the responsibility. So the first thing I want you to know or to remember is that negative chatter, the negative thoughts, may never disappear completely. They may always be on the periphery trying to gain your attention. But what does happen as you step more firmly and more devotedly into your awakened state is that you recognize with even more clarity all of the power that you have as a divine being. Now, I'm not trying to say that we are better than God, but we are a part of God. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm that is God, and therefore we have been gifted all of the qualities of a divine being, and we are learning how to use them effectively. So let's take a look at some of the privileges and responsibilities that come with being awakened. First of all, it is absolutely a privilege to feel deeply. Sometimes it may feel painful, but I want you to ask yourself, since you're able to move through the pain as an awakened being, would you rather stay in a state of unawareness, or would you like to remain in this state of awareness and awakening where you are able to feel deeply? The other thing that I want you to be really cognizant of, the thing that you receive when you agree to your awakening, is that you are connected on every level. When you are in your humanness, in your physical self only, you might feel connected in some ways and completely disconnected or disassociating in many others. So one of the gifts of awakening is that You will feel connected on every level. You'll also be able to communicate with the energetic realm. And certainly that has enhanced my life incredibly. Communicating, receiving instruction, having a best friend to talk to on the energetic realm. The other thing that is really a fabulous privilege is to receive that guidance and support that is for your highest good. So we're able to step out of that place of, gosh, I hope I'm making the right choice, and into the place where you know that you are making the right choice. And it's that knowing that really brings confidence to every aspect of your life. Now, what are the responsibilities of living an awakened life? Well, first of all, you got to recognize, and this is a biggie, nothing is happening to you. Now, certainly, most of us, I know for myself, that when I was locked in a battle with the ego, I was certain that everything just happened to me and that I was not a determiner in any way. So my thoughts were not shaping what the events that I was interacting with, the way I felt about myself or my life did nothing to change what showed up. So it was a big step for me to go from that place of utter victimhood, everything is happening to me, to the place of responsibility where I recognized that nothing was happening to me, it was happening through me. So that also means that you must say there is no outside force that is holding sway over your life. You can't look around and point the finger at someone or something else without also looking at what your part is in that relationship. You create, generate, and propagate your own thoughts. They begin with you, they're given attention by you, and they are encouraged to bring more thoughts that are similar in nature or to go in another direction, depending on you. You are 100% in charge of your life. Free will is always at work. There's no time in which your choice goes unhonored, unless you have decided to merge with the divine will, and then the choice that is for the highest good of all concerned is the one that will hold sway. But when you have merged with the divine, you will feel completely in flow with that decision that is honoring the highest good, because that is representational of the divine love, the unconditional love that is flowing to you and through you when you're in alignment. So, we love to build up these stories about, oh, I just can't stop thinking these negative things, or these thoughts just keep coming and I just can't seem to get them to stop. It's no matter how hard I try, there's nothing that I can do about it. Well, for the awakened being, we know right there that that is not a truthful statement. But we want to go further. Today, we want to go beyond the place of blame and shame, beyond the place of responsibility, and into the place where we understand how we can effectively live our life and learn from all that we are experiencing in our lives. So, as always, I am delighted and excited to hear from each one of you, and I want to talk to you about any negative energy that, or anything that you are dealing with that you feel that you're having a really tough time overcoming. That number to call in is 347-202-0232. And today I'd like you to keep your questions centered on how can I overcome the negative thoughts? How can I keep my mind in a positive direction? Something along those lines. Because we want to honor that the angels have brought forward this topic to talk about. So, one thing to remember is that you are never being tested, punished, or taught a lesson because you've misbehaved or you deserve it. The only thing that can ever happen is that the universe can respond to your vibrational offering. So, if you begin looking at what's wrong and talking about it and giving it a lot of attention, and you start worrying about it, you start playing the what if game about it, if you start going down what I call negative alley, which is where you look at all the reasons why something is going to go wrong, and you become really attached to that, you get really emotionally involved with the negative side of it, that what's going to go wrong and why it's going to go wrong and why things have never worked in the past. When you get really attached to all of that, to that scenario, it's as though you're in a swift-moving river that's moving you in the wrong direction. And the only place that you are going to end up is in the land of more negativity. The only possible place you can go from the obsession with negative thoughts and negative outcomes is the place where there is more to be afraid of, more to feel badly about, more to feel victimized by. And we want to understand that we don't have to stay in the state of victimhood. When you are unawakened, when you are just in your physical life and unaware of the help that you have through the energetic realm, it's easy to see yourself as a victim, as someone who is being taken advantage of. And truly, when you don't know better, that is possible. That can be your reality. However, we need to educate ourselves so that we will no longer be susceptible to the lower vibrational wavelength, so that we will be up in a place of enlightened love, joy, and peace, and from that place we will attract to us things that feel good, endings that end positively and are uplifting. We will be in situations that continuously bring us joy. So in order for us to get to that place, we got to deal with all of these thoughts and emotions that may go swirling around. And so I asked my guides, what can we do? How can we stop this negative mind chatter? So, of course, their first response was, well, you're going to change your experience by changing your thoughts and feelings. So the negative end of the scale may be self-pity, low self-esteem, feeling self-critical, or forming judgments, or blaming yourself or others. Always looking at others for causing you a problem or a failure. And or also assuming that you are defective or responsible for causing the problem. Responsibility is a double-edged sword. So, yes, you have to take responsibility for your life. You have to recognize that what you create, that you create what you experience through your thoughts. That is the truth of responsibility. But there is also a lie that can be attached to responsibility, and that is to assume that you're at fault or to blame or that you are unworthy in any way. Just let go of the blame and the judgment. Just instead adopt the attitude that if this is happening to me, it must be for my highest good. From that place of well-being, you are more likely to attract circumstances that represent what you're thinking. From the place of, oh, I always make mistakes. I am such a failure. I'm worthless. The only thing that you're going to be able to attract are situations in which you cannot possibly win or achieve. You've demanded through your thoughts that what comes to you is an impossible situation in order for you to benefit. So let's be mindful of the truth and step away from the ego's version of events that sometimes paint things in a very illusionary light. It can be quite deceptive. So anytime you assign negative qualities to yourself or others, I want you to see it as waving the red flag. That should be your high sign. Hey, what am I doing? And this is a great time to call in the angels. This is the time when you want to say, okay, you know what, angels, you beings of 100% pure white light, you are absolutely amazing, and I love and value you so much. So I want to thank you for being here with me. And when you see that I'm heading off down negative alley, I want you to remind me. I want you to tap me on the shoulder or get my attention and say, whoa, what are you doing? Or they might say, gosh, you sure you want to think those thoughts? Do you realize what that's going to bring you? It gives you that moment to take a breath and to say to yourself, oh, what am I doing? Hang on just a minute. Let me get myself back together, back in alignment, back in the flow of the unconditional love of the divine. And now we have a caller, and we are so delighted that you're here. And as always, I want to make sure that you know you do not have to give your given name. I would just like a name to call you, but this is a public airspace. So calling from 347, how can the angels help you today?
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call. I'm kind of under a lot of stress
Aww.
for different reasons. Going through some financial issues, but I'm also taking an exam in about 2 days. It's a 2-day exam, and I'm under a lot of stress. And I'm starting to get like yesterday, I had like a massive headache. But I think I went outside and maybe caught a cold, and so I'm just feeling a lot of stress around this exam and performing and just everything. And I just wanted to know, maybe, I don't know if my angels had some remedy for me or something, some kind of
okay, and tell
information.
Me, what can I call you today?
Call me Sunny.
Sunny. I love that choice of name. Thank you. So let's just take a minute to go into the energy that's around you right now and to join with the angels and ask them for assistance. And the thing that you are doing so beautifully is you are not sitting and stewing in your despair. Instead, you are reaching out to the angels and asking for help. I want absolutely everyone to take note of how brilliant Sunny is handling this situation. Exams are stressful. It is easy to get caught up in the, what if I don't do well? What if I don't know the answers? What if I didn't study the right thing? And
Mhm.
When we allow that to be our dominant thinking, it's automatically going to attract then a mind that's closed and can't really recall what you're studying. So then
Yeah.
you're going to realize, oh my gosh, I'm not recalling anything. Oh, look at all this time. I'm wasting all it. Big ball of snowball rolling down the hill. Now, what you
Mhm.
did so incredibly beautifully to stop that was to say, I need help. I need help from the energetic realm, the angels who are omnipresent and who always see the big picture and can show me what it is that is for my highest good. So let's just take a look at where you are first, and we're taking a look energetically where you are with this material. Okay, well, now when I check on that, you are an incredible student. You have been preparing for a very long time. You are very conversant with the material. And if you were to take it today and you were relaxed, you could probably get 100. With that in mind, I want you to relax. And they're showing me that you're under an Afghan on the couch with a cup of tea. And you get your notes and you spread them out. And I want you to begin saying, angels, I want you to point passages to me that need to be reviewed. But
Okay.
you're going to approach this saying, I already know this material really well. You need to be honest. You are an
Okay.
excellent student. You have paid attention. You've shown up. You've done the work. You are conversant with this material. Now, always when we're learning something, some things
Mhm.
are going to be so easy because they just fall into place. Other
Yeah.
things are going to feel like, ugh. Find those places of resistance and ask the angels, angels, can you just help me move into a place of flow with this information? So can you think of one area where you get stuck, and we'll ask them for a specific help with that specific
Uh,
area?
oh, sure. Because it's like it's, believe it or not, it's 14 topics, but on one part of the test you don't know what they're actually going to test you on. Another part you actually do. Well, I'm getting stuck with well, one part is called civil procedure, which is like say how basically how lawyers file things, like
Okay.
the dates, like say when someone's served with something, how many days that someone has to respond and class. I don't know if I'm just checking out because there's numbers involved, even
Right.
though I don't have to add.
Boring.
Just seeing numbers, I just get like panic, even though there's no adding involved. But it's like one subject called civil procedure, and also I forgot to send in a thing like where you can because it's like a writing part too. I forgot to sign up to use the laptop, so I have to handwrite it, and I've never handwritten it before. So that's like an extra stress. So I would say civil procedure and then just the handwriting part.
Okay. First of all, before you started talking, they said she knows 12 of the subjects like the back of her hand. There's only 2 that are giving her. So thank you. That was the perfect answer. And I'm going to tell you why you should be jumping up and down and saying hooray that you get to handwrite it in just a minute. But first, we're going to address the issue with the numbers. All they're
Okay.
saying is common sense, common sense, common sense. Let it go. It
Okay.
is pretty much a common sense section, and you will
Yeah.
get enough right
Hmm.
by using common sense.
Okay. Okay.
So, rather than try to cram in a bunch of dates,
Dates.
like,
Yeah.
and I'll give you an example of this. On the written test on the motor vehicle,
Uh-huh.
I had to take it, every couple of years or whatever. They decide that suddenly you need to be retested. Okay, so I go over there. And I had studied the book, except the drunk questions. I'm like, oh God, they'll never ask me that. I don't drink at all. So I have absolutely no comprehension. And I'm like, uh-oh, angels, you got to give me the answers. I don't know. Well, instead of using common sense, I just went crazy and I picked all of the worst things that you could do. And the lady was like, oh, you really don't know anything about DUIs. I was like, no, I don't. She's, well, you need to study that section you failed. Like, darn.
Oh.
Darn it. So I just completely let common sense go. I couldn't. I got nervous. I couldn't hear the angels. I'm just like, oh, I don't know anything about this. I'm just going to write the heart, in jail for 20 years. Yes, anything stupid. I mean, really, it was stupid. And I was like, then they're tapping me on the head saying, common sense, just common sense. Just take a deep breath, relax, and what would make sense? Let the punishment fit the crime kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is the same thing they're saying to you. Just common sense. Don't overreact. Don't underreact. Just somewhere in the middle is what is going to be the appropriate time frame. So if you have a choice between 90 days and 5 months, it's probably going to be 90 days. It's not going to be tomorrow, and it's not going to be 5 months because that clogs up the pipeline.
Right.
And, so it's just common sense. And sure enough, when I went back and actually studied those laws, I was like, oh, yeah, okay. Really wasn't that tough, but I had made it into a big deal because I wasn't paying any attention to that section. And the lady thought it was absolutely hilarious because of the things I came up with. So don't let yourself get off into that crazy territory of not possible. Just stay within the reasonable doubt boundaries, and you'll get enough of that section right so that it won't affect your grade. So, that, and, sure, spend a little bit of time on the couch with a cup of tea. It doesn't have to be tea, but some sort of hot drink. I don't know why they want it hot, but, well, I guess it's kind of cold outside and under a blanket so you feel snuggly.
Yeah.
And, take a few of the ones that stand out to you and learn those so that you don't feel like you're going in cold. If I had spent more than 2 seconds reading the drunk laws, and now I forgot again. I want to say it's 2.0, but I know that's not right. Where before you're drunk. I mean, if I had spent more than 2 seconds allowing myself to look at it instead of saying, oh, God, this is boring, move on, I would have had a sense of what made sense.
Right.
But I haven't had an alcohol drink in a long time, even though I used to love wine. And I don't know, I was like not wanting to comprehend it. And so I didn't. I was like looking back, I'm like, wow, I must love going to the DMV because I just bought myself another trip.
Lord, I totally understand.
You just don't let yourself get tricked into this is unfun. I don't want to pay attention to it. Just be conversant with what makes sense. So it's not a memorization. It's more of a this makes sense, this doesn't. And then all of them will fall into place. So take a couple of the big ones and see how they've timed them out, for lack of a better word. And then that will let the smaller, more incidental ones sort of fall into place. Now, the other thing, the reason the typing on writing it as opposed to typing it is a blessing. When I do my channeling, I hand write it. And people are always like, are you crazy? It's like the only way that I can truly channel flowing long, and it can run to 6 pages of information from them. It helps me so much to have holding the pen in my hand, to have the paper in front of me, to close my eyes and just to say, okay, angels, I am here with you. I'm in alignment with whatever it is that you are wanting to share with me right now. Give yourself a few minutes as you sit down and look at the verbal section, the written section.
Yeah.
Close your eyes, put the pen in whatever hand you use, just relax. Angels, I am allowing myself now to align with you and to ask you to help flow the information to me in a seamless whole. You will discover that the information just appears, and when it appears to stop, close your eyes. You might have gotten distracted. Close your eyes again. Take a breath. Read where you were, so you give yourself sort of a mental jog. Read where you were. Close your eyes. Okay, I left off at the lawyer needs to file and I'm stuck. Okay, I'm just going to take a breath. Close my eyes, relax, step back into my place of all-knowing, which is alignment, and allow the information to begin flowing to me again. Now, here's the really cool thing. When we write with a pen and pencil as opposed to typing, our arm has to make different movements. And the movements are different enough so that you're actually imprinting the information on your brain. When you type, all of the movements are so similar that there is no brain imprint that's being created. So by writing out this information, you're giving yourself benefit on 2 different levels. First of all, you're allowing a really clear flow with the divine. They love the handwritten. And one of the reasons they love handwritten is because it's a commitment. If you're willing to commit to them to that degree, then it strengthens your connection. And the other thing is you are securing that knowledge in your brain. You are making sure it will be easy for you to retrieve that information later because you're actually imprinting it. So here's something that they've just dropped in. And they said, so take any part that feels a little wobbly to you. So it could be the that one section with the dates. And put on paper, write it out, some of the significant dates or the bigger milestones. And that will help kind of cement it in your brain. And then, you know what else they're showing me? Take a mental snapshot. Take a minute after you've written it. Just again, deep breath, but this time with your eyes open, just take a minute to look at the paper and to start doing some free association with it. So looking at the date or 3 months. Okay, what does 3 mean to me? Or what can I assign to 3? You know, how can I give it significance for this particular procedure? And that will help you sort of take a mental snapshot so that when you get into the exam, which is a more stressful environment than sitting on your couch, you're going to be able to just close your eyes and re-see that, revisualize that piece of paper, and that ability, that knowing that you have that in your back pocket is a huge stress reducer. It's when if we go into something and we feel unprepared, we get a little kooky and we make ourselves overly stressful. When we have little backup systems, so you've taken a screenshot. Okay, I can pull out my screenshot. Oh, I know when I put my hand in the pen in my hand and I take a deep breath and relax, the angels will help me flow the information. It's another stress reducer. It's another way that you are more prepared than other people so that you can truly tell yourself and believe it, I've got this. And remember what they said. You know 12 of those sections like the back of your hand.
Okay.
Now, I want an update. I expect 150 on that exam.
Yes, I definitely want to get that. I'm definitely hoping for that. Thank you so much. This was so relaxing. Like on the phone with you, I started yawning and getting sleepy, and I wasn't sleepy prior.
Good. That means you're releasing the stress. You're just letting go of it, and that's what we want.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. I'm serious. I want to know that you got a really good grade. I know you have one. I can see it, but I want you to share that. So send me an email and tell me how amazing you did.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
And now calling from 785. How can the angels help you, and what would you like me to call you today?
This is Joan.
Hi, Joan. How are you,
Hi, Marcia.
my
I've been looking forward to your program tonight about stopping the mind chatter. And I did read your blog, and it was very helpful and very well written. I actually took a few excerpts of that, trying to get past the self-chatter that pretty much put me into a pretty sad doldrums for the last 2 days. I'm going through a difficult breakup, and we're in a small enough town that I just got totally caught up in the fact that everyone in town is gossiping and judging, everywhere I go, I'm running into people who are asking questions, and a breakup is hard enough in itself, but somehow my mind got set into this thought process of being judged by people in this kind of small town. So the chatter got overwhelming, and even though I knew that I was probably making this up in my mind, I just couldn't get it to stop until sometimes a new day, a fresh day will give you a fresh perspective. Until today, when I thought, okay, I liked what you were telling your last caller about writing. I do a lot of journaling and I do a lot of writing. And I thought to myself, well, I'm very likely making up all this negative self-talk that's making me feel down and further stressed. Why don't I just start writing that all these people I'm running into are the most understanding people I could ever find, who are not being judgmental. And I just kept writing on and on and on and on, almost like writing this alternate reality that completely refuted the negative reality. And it felt a little phony to do it, but it was really helpful to do, because why tell myself something negative that I don't even know is based in truth when I could be telling myself something positive that, although it also may not be based in truth, it makes me feel better. Is that kind of, do you have any thoughts on this?
I love that.
I'm sure it's something a lot of people struggle with, and it's like finding something that it was almost more active than just thinking in my mind, I'm going to get busy or I'm going to distract or I'm going to do this, because it just seemed like no matter what I tried to do, I kept coming back to that negative thought process until I started the actual journaling piece.
Now, you get the gold star for the day because you said something that was so incredibly brilliant, which is, well, even though it feels a little silly, or I feel like I might be making up these positive things, how do I know I'm not making up these negative things? Hallelujah, brilliant one. Absolutely. I mean, if we were really to open up the mind of every single person that you ran into, let's do that. Let's
Right.
just take a moment and check on them energetically. Most people are caught up in their own stuff. And if they are thinking about you at all, they're like, oh, God, I hope it doesn't happen to me. Joan's really holding it together better than I would. Or, I don't know how she does it. It's just amazing. We supply things like, oh, look at her. She's, part of a breakup. Well, good thing that wouldn't happen to me. That's ego.
Well, and I go out to a local restaurant, and like this morning, I was with one of my family members, with my son actually, and this was where I was always with my partner, my husband before, and the same people that I've seen for years with him are now seeing me frequently there with other people. And if they don't even glance or look my way or say hi, then I start that negative chatter. Oh my gosh, and maybe they are, avoiding eye contact because, I was out one time and one person just said to me, she says, well, I don't know how to say this, and so I guess I'll just say it. And she said, are you guys really, breaking up? And, and I mean, I'm sure she was asking the question a lot of other people want to ask because she saw me out by myself. So it's hard when you see and feel those kinds of things, and maybe I'm just tapped in energetically enough that I think their general aloofness, but there could be some reality to it too. It's just a very, very uncomfortable time. And then I have to say another thing, and we can talk further on this, but I'd also like you to visit some more about, I also then dipped into his Facebook page and saw a post that wasn't anything whatsoever derogatory about our relationship or me or anything whatsoever, but he got a lot of activity on it. And I'm not as big on Facebook, but the lots and lots and lots of activity then starts you down that path of, well, I'm the one who's going to be without the friends. I'm going to be the one who's, do you know what I'm saying? And when I even talked to someone about this and who said, my big divorce and breakup was before Facebook days, and I'm so thankful because of exactly what you're talking about. And in suggested blocking, well, that's always seen as just a real severing of ties, which I don't feel I'm really there yet. I just need to discipline myself to not look, or stay off.
Right.
So
and
a couple
I think
of thoughts. People might be really thinking, and then how do you handle the social media stuff?
Okay. First of all, it's 9 times out of 10 the only thing people are thinking when they are looking at you is, what's going to happen to me? Very few people are able to get out beyond themselves. So if they are looking at you and they're unable to make eye contact, it can be them so ridiculous that they're saying, well, if I befriend Joan or I am kind to Joan, does that mean I'll get a divorce? Most people live in a space of such deep insecurity that they really can't imagine or take a moment to step into your shoes. They're too busy concentrating on themselves. But as an awakened being that you are, you're kind of able to feel everything. And so I want you to take a different approach. So instead of caring what they're thinking, which is usually just self-absorbed worry, be the proactive one. First of all, make sure before you go into any public space that you're shielded and grounded and aligned with the divine, so that you go in walking among angels, and then start throwing your blankets of pink and gold light. You start sharing unconditional love with these people who are so frightened of their own shadows that they don't even know how to approach you in a loving manner. They're so concerned that if they show love and support to you, that somehow the same thing will happen to them. They'll end up divorced. It's foolishness. It's complete ego-based illusion, but it's so easy to get caught up in it. But you, as the awakened being in the room, need to set the tone. This is the way you're going to respond to me, everyone. I walk with the angels. And our partners, our former partners, our current partners, whatever they may be, they too can walk with the angels. Why not spread love? This is not disparaging in any way toward another person. This is you saying, this is who I, Joan, am. So you walk in that room. First of all, you're shielded. So you don't have to pick up all their confusion and their nonsense and their gossip. And you're grounded so that you are being renewed and restored from the electrical grid in the earth, which is designed to give life to the physical body. You are also aligned, so you are receiving unconditional love from the divine, and you're not walking in there by yourself, whether you're with a friend or not. And then as you walk in, you're just the purveyor of unconditional love. You are handing out blankets of pink and gold love. You're wrapping pink and gold light. You're wrapping them all up in a sense of well-being. Because none of these people, when I go into the restaurant, all of them admire you. They're all a little afraid of you because they could have never gone through what you've gone through and be holding it together. And they have no idea how to approach you. So they're
and
like...
I sometimes envision it when I get that sense. You're saying they don't have any idea how to approach me. I take it to the negative and think they're picking sides.
Of course.
You know, if
of
they
course,
talk to
the
me,
ego is,
they can't
the
be
ego
friends.
Says,
but they can
right.
be friends with both. But I know that sometimes happens that people, quote, pick sides. Not that they have to, but yeah, I thought maybe some of it could be just this being uncomfortable or feeling uncomfortable. What do you say? What do I say? You know.
Right.
So I need to almost be the first to maybe at least say hello or speak up. Yeah.
Right. You just walk in there with that big flowing presence, which is you, in your most optimal state. So you get in your place of alignment, and then you flow that energy into the restaurant and smile, and I'm so glad to see you. Hello, how are you? You make it easy for them to relate to you because honestly, they're looking at you and they're like, I couldn't do it. I don't know how she does it. It's amazing. What should I say? Can I support her? I don't know if I can support her. Oh, what should I do? Then they go, they're off in their own little incubator, and then, I don't want to pick sides. What should I do? I feel uncomfortable. They're more uncomfortable than you are because they don't have your breadth of knowledge, strength, or energetic comprehension. The few that do have already reached out to you. They're already, we're so glad to see you. You look lovely, whatever, and they wait for you to give them the cue as to whether you need them to support you, whether you want to talk about it or not. But those people are always going to be the needles in the haystack. They're not going to be the mass majority. Mass majority is going to be deer in the headlights. We don't know what to do, and what if it falls on us? It's mass majority is going to come from a fear place. a better protect our own. We don't know if it's catching, which is just a stupid. Well, that's too. I'm sorry. That was mean. Okay, angels, forgive me. They really caught me on that one.
But not a judgment place, though, you're saying, not which is
not
what I internalize.
Right. They're coming from a place, ignorance is the right word here, a place of legitimately not understanding. You believe
well, and that's how we all perceive everything is from our own understanding. And so I see where you're kind of helping me realize that they're coming from their own insecurities versus judging me for anything I've done or said.
Right.
Because I realize both of us have good reputations in this small community. We both do. And it's probably for that reason, I think, been fairly shocking for a lot of people to see this unfolding, because being seen publicly, you don't show that piece of it. And so it's shocking for people. And it wasn't like we weren't together a lot. Some couples who are breaking up are really never ever seen together, so it's kind of like, well, we never saw you together anyway. Well, that wasn't the case. So, and
it speaks volumes for both of you trying to find a middle ground, which is really important. As you look back, you'll say, okay, we really did try to meet in the middle. We did try to find balance. We did try to find a road that we could travel together. And it's okay if it was not doable. People come into our lives for a certain period of time to help us get to the next place. And yet we have to remember that every person we encounter has free will. So if they are choosing to remain behind as you grow, it may be necessary for that relationship to no longer be active. Doesn't mean the person is bad. It just means you're no longer vibrationally attuned. One of the parties has chosen not to raise their vibration and the other party has. And that's generally when splits start happening, is because as a vibrationally aware person, you will be advised by the angels, you cannot go down and rescue. You can't descend down to their level and try to push them up. You can stay in your high place and invite them to join you. But the minute you descend, you're now at the mercy of that negative energetic vibration, and you've lost your way. So they'll never encourage you to descend. They'll only encourage you to stay in your high place and invite others to join you. But the other person has the right to say, that doesn't interest me. And that's when the relationship begins losing ground and eventually cannot be sustained. So you can always look back and say, wow, we really did our best to promote each other, to work through this, to find common ground, but in the end, it just wasn't sustainable. And that should be honored, and you should really feel good about that, but not attached to the relationship. Okay, we did try really hard. There were so many different ways that we worked at this and we looked at this. But if something can't be sustained, part of the awakened being's journey is to recognize when you've got to let go of a past entanglement. When is it no longer serving you? And that's where the angels really help guide us. They will only direct us toward our highest good. So you, as the being that has chosen to be in the high place, are going to have to, you've got such a regal air. It's so beautiful, but you don't always let it be expressed because you get a little down on yourself. I want you to allow the regalness to come forth. So before you go in the restaurant, you got a shield and ground and align so that you're, completely encased in your beautiful space. And then you just go pouring out unconditional love so that everybody immediately relaxes, or those who are willing to receive. You can't do anything about the ones that just want to be a stick in the mud, except move on. Just send out that unconditional love. Be your beautiful, gracious self. Smile at everyone. And just let them be where they are. And then you decide from their reaction whether you want to talk with them or not. It's okay for you not to talk with everybody. It's okay not to honor somebody who is acting judgmentally. You don't, somebody comes up to me and says, "You're really a waste of space." I'm really not going to spend a whole lot of time convincing you why I'm not. I used to. I used to sit there. I'm so sorry. Oh, what have I done that would make you think that? Now I'm like, gosh, thanks for your opinion, and I walk away.
So why did I trigger so heavily with the Facebook thing, and how do I remedy that problem?
I was just going to say, now let's look at social media. Okay, so
right,
it's such a false front that
right,
the ego just has a party. I mean, I'm laughing because I've met some of these Instagram people in real life, and then I've seen them on Instagram, and I'm like, wow, gosh, you certainly look different. I don't say that to them, but I think, wow. You just have to remember how unreal a space it really is. Some people are there being who they truly are. Other people have made up names. They've made up pictures. They've made up everything about themselves. So people have given themselves a pass to be inauthentic in the social realm. And it's a problem. But, it's really no different than when we all used to do the cocktail hour, parties at different people's houses. You dress up, you put on your best behavior, and, that might cover an alcoholic abusive relationship every other day of the week. So anytime we go social, we have the opportunity to go pretend. And this is where the angels can really help us. And you just have to say, angels, this is really hurting me. I feel like I'm not enough. Or I'm feeling like I'll be left all by myself. What is it about this interaction or this thing that I'm not willing to see? Because if you were seeing the truth of who you are, you would not be feeling the inadequacy. So you've set up a point of resistance. You've let something get a hold of you, and we all do it. So again, this is not blame, this is learning. So then we say to the angels, okay, man, I am so stuck. This thing really set me off. Help me to see the truth in this. And the angels gave me a light on that. So it's really important in all social settings. Help me to see the truth in this. And you may feel that they come in and warm up your energetic field. And it might feel like a hug, or you just relax, or you look somewhere else and a friend says, "Wow, Joan, I really admire you." And it kind of, helps you get past that moment. But whenever we're stuck in something, it's because we're entertaining a false front.
Well, the other thing that I've been reading about is the narcissists that oftentimes really get involved a lot in social media. And that was an issue in this relationship, and part of why it's not, not progressing and falling apart. And then a trigger for me has been, trying to talk about problems, and he would get on Facebook at what I thought was a very important time to be talking, and the next thing I knew, I was being dismissed with him looking on Facebook. So this weekend, I was actually fell into something about how narcissists, especially like covert narcissists who are a little bit more of the quiet type, will use social media as their narcissistic feed because they get all of these likes and comments from even strangers. And I could see that and knew that, but I think I'm just realizing that more. So the trauma of being dismissed by this social media thing, and the trauma of being with this narcissistic personality, I think also fed into that being such a trigger. Does that seem reasonable?
Absolutely. And one thing you can say to yourself is just remind yourself is this is all fake. I don't know if these people even exist. So I'm assigning value to people that just could be empty space.
Well, we're such a small community. I knew a lot of the people. I mean, I knew a lot of the names, and that adds to that feeling of, picking sides, being friends here, but not, because again, we're small enough that I know a lot of the people who were jumping on and commenting, including some of my good friends, which surprised me, but it wasn't bad.
But then you need to remember that when we're in those anonymous, even though you know them, they're still anonymous so that the person isn't face-to-face with you. So you can say something, perhaps they're saying something to your partner that they would also say to you or say differently to you because they feel that they want to support both. But people can use that anonymity of having no one in front of them to say more than they really should, and it often backfires. So you got to just, look at that and kind of put yourself in the mind of the writer. What in the world were they trying to convey when they said that? Sometimes it takes reading the comment numerous times, because certainly when I've read things, one time I might say, are you kidding? And really get a weird reaction to it. And then I read it back and I think, oh no, that was me being triggered by something else, and that's not what they meant. So look at the...
Well, a friend of mine thought this was him fishing for compliments or comments.
Which the narcissist will always do.
Right.
Constantly.
Right.
I mean,
and thought that I might be seeing it, so, but you can't attribute that. You can't attribute that they wrote it thinking Joan will see this and it will make her feel bad or something.
But
it's a landmine. It's a landmine of those things.
And let's be honest, probably that was the motivation. Hey, I'm going to get attention, and Joan will get to see what she's given up. Look at this. This will remind her what an incredible catch I am. And
it did trigger that. It did trigger that to some degree.
And that's okay, because you recognized it, and you were brilliant enough to say, okay, if I can let all of this negative stuff fill my brain, why can't I turn my attention to positive stuff, fill my brain with that? And then you've satisfied the argument of what if it isn't true by recognizing the negative is no more true and has no more substance than the positive that you're writing. Actually, the positive probably has a lot more substance and a lot more truth.
Right. because it happened to be a post at an event I would normally have gone with that would have been enjoyable. So it was specific to something like that. So anyway, thank you for that advice.
Absolutely. Just going forward, expect that somebody that is in at the lower registers, the negative registers, is going to use covert tactics to try to make you feel badly that you're not willing to play games with them anymore.
Right.
So you got to, kind of expect that that's part of the territory. You hurt my feelings, so I'm going to make sure everybody knows. Well, if you're not playing that game anymore because you realize you're just not in the same vibrational space and you are trying to bow out gracefully, they may or may not be able to do the same, and they may need to resort to some adolescent games.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. We've got one more caller, and this time it is... there we go. My thing wasn't working. Now, this time it's a caller from 408. What would you like me to call you today?
Way busy, you'd be fine.
Okay, and what would you like to share with the angels, or what would you like to learn from the angels today?
Well, after carefully examining what love has already done for me personally, I'm looking at the future in a different way now.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. And I'm just so excited, though, and I'm wondering, we get to do this all the time?
Absolutely. And here's the real amazing gift. When you step fully into your awakened state, and fully is, I said when you step fully into your awakened state, but let's they're giving me a red flag on that. As you become more present in your awakened state, because we're always growing. So as you become more present and spend more time in that freedom, you also get to give up looking over your shoulder and wondering when the other shoe is going to drop. You get to give up that, it's too good to last. And I think that's the biggest gift I've ever received. Grew up all my life with, it's too good to last. When is the rug going to be pulled out from under my feet? When is this all going to come crashing down? And now I realize it will be sustained as long as I am willing to be in the vibrational space that is conducive to entertaining it. What a place of freedom. So, as you are looking at love, as long as you keep your vibration high in that beautiful space of purity where you are just wanting to share and receive joy and love, that's what you will continue to experience.
Well, that's a beautiful gift, and I can't believe it's true, but it is. It's just like, I just can't believe it, though. I mean, it's all the time.
And
hold on, one more thing. And the thing about it is, because I checked. I said, I put my hand up. And I was like as if I was putting my hand in front of somebody's face, and I said, can they see me? And he said, no. They can see your hand going in the circle, but they can't see you spiritually. And I go, whoa, what a trip, man. I go, what does that mean for me now?
Who is it that you're saying, can they see me?
They can't. I had to say, can they hear me? Because I was thinking they couldn't hear me or something, right? He goes, no, they can't hear you. Spiritually speaking.
But
spiritually
who is
speaking.
it? Who cannot hear you?
The people that haven't been spiritually illuminated.
Oh, right. You're just, yeah, it's
Right.
like being on a different call. So you
Well,
dialed
yeah.
210 and they dialed 013. You're not on the same line. And that's what Jesus meant when he said, you are in the world, but not of it. So by
well, and
aligning with the divine, you are in a place where you can walk through the world and share an incredible, beautiful gift of love. But you're not going to be pummeled by the world like you were when you believed that the world was stronger than you are. By stepping into that place of awareness where you recognize that it's you that's bringing to you the things that you're experiencing, you've stepped out of the lane that says, I don't know what's going to happen next, but it will probably be bad because other bad things have happened. Now you're occupying the lane, that the expressway that says, hey, everything's clear and free sailing for me.
well, we do develop a lot of bad habits when we live in the world in our flesh bodies. Under the sun, without the spirit. So we do pick up a lot of bad habits when we live in the world. So those things need to be dealt with, and we need to be dealt with quick, because you don't have to doing that, and there's a problem with that, you know what I mean, with that. And so there's an urgency to this whole love thing.
There is, but I'm going to ask you to slow down. I know your name is way busy, but I'm still going to ask you to slow down and know that it will come at the time that is perfect for you. If that's tomorrow, this minute, next minute, it will arrive at that time. It's okay for you to take a deep breath and relax, because you are perfect as you are.
Absolutely. And that's all the time. Even when I don't feel like it.
Amen. Hallelujah. You got it.
Hallelujah. I know. Praise God. That's what we do. Praise God. Because when we praise God, that blesses him, and he lives inside of us. So he's getting a big kick out of this blessing thing, because God knew that when you were able to hear what he says, to you, that you were very blessed, because now that you can hear, you can see in your mind's eye. You can see things, and the Spirit shows you things that you never knew before, only because you're paying attention. If you don't pay attention, then you're going to be making mistakes, and it's inevitable. We're all going to make mistakes. But
what you have done is now you've stepped in to the knowing that you are always safe and loved, and from that place, you are unlimited.
Absolutely.
You stepped out of fear and into love. Amazing.
Well,
Thank you so much.
Love kicks fear out of the way.
Exactly. The two cannot coexist.
Yeah. No.
So,
because if you have your being in love, right? Okay, you have in your being. Every day you wake up and you're walking in love, right? And you're thinking, "Wow, this is so amazing," Instead of people going, "Well, this is what God says about this and about this and about this, and this is what God says, and God says this," and I'm thinking, well, you guys can read. That's obvious. You all know how to read, but you don't go take God's word and force it on people. Now you stop doing that. God never forces his love on nobody. Now you stop it, and I want you to stop it too, okay? I didn't see nothing.
Just open your heart and let that love flow, and whoever receives it, fabulous. And if people are not able to receive it, just let it flow to the person who is, because the more people who are flowing with that love, the easier it will be for each person to receive it.
Amen.
So thank you for being such a beautiful blessing today. We're out of time. So I want to thank you so much. I can feel your enthusiasm and your love, and it's just fabulous. Stay just the way you are. You are perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing yourselves with me, with the world. You have no idea what you have accomplished by being willing to share your concerns. As we share the things that we are experiencing with each other, we all grow, and we all are gifted the opportunity to move beyond that experience into a better place. So I want to thank each and every one of you. You are so very important. You are vital to the well-being of this incredible world that we all share. For those of you who want to dig even deeper, please visit me on my website, mmhearthealer.com or marciamartinthehearthealer.com. On that website, you can either sign up to work with me personally. If you need if free options, we've got the email and, of course, the blog, which is Channeled Writings from the Divine. And if you want to go deeper, which would be working with me personally, you can sign up to talk with the angels, go on my website, and book that opportunity for yourself. Or another way is to join our Healing Hearts community, which is just in its infancy, but is already filled with so much information that the guides have shared with me. And right now it is less than $8 a month. So many ways in which we can connect with each other and support and love each other. And you can find them all by going to my website, mmhearthealer.com. As always, so grateful for all of you. And until next week, I am sending you all my love.
You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. You can check out who's on, when we're on, and who our guests are at angelheartradio.com. Everything is there. It's all just one click away. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools to help you in your life and your life experience. They are not intended, nor should they, be used to replace your medical or legal advice. The views expressed by hosts, co-hosts, callers, guests, and associates should not be construed as advice from Angel Heart Radio.